First, Classic Cars pays homage to the 50s and goes in search of automobile heaven and the true home of chrome, California.
Rusty, is it, or dented?
No dents whatsoever. None.
The chrome, like the bumpers and that.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good condition.
Yeah. A nice 61 Cadillac limousine there. Nice looking car. That'd go down well in England.
The engine runs really good.
Yeah.
Nice condition.
A lot like this back wing was a little bit wavy on it.
Yeah. Nice looking Hudson. It's absolutely in first class order.
I was saying it's quite nice, but sort of a bit, you know. Yeah, I'm really looking for a Roadmaster two-door hardtop. 55 Buick. That one looked like it needed plenty of work. What colour is that?
Maroon and pink.
Yeah. And is the paint good on it?
Yeah, it's old, you know. No, it's not good. I mean, if you stand 15 feet away, it looks good.
Shake it all over.
This is the Pomona Swap Meet, a regular open-air market for California's car fraternity. Here in the land of the endless highway, of drive-in everything, the car is still an icon of optimism that nothing can diminish. Stewart and Milton Homan are from Battersea, South London. Their company, Dream Cars, specialises in 50s American automobiles. Every 6 weeks they come to California looking for new stock.
Nice colour, that.
So it's got a traffic light viewer in it.
Is it?
Innovations like a traffic light viewer on this 1959 Ford Skyliner are part of the B-movie science fiction appeal of 50s American cars.
Tinted windows. Now these mirrors, they're really rare on these. Nice factory fender skirts. Yeah, the sill trim's been screwed on, that's a shame, isn't it? It's a bit iffy.
A peach Skyliner might look neat cruising down the Kings Road, Chelsea, but so might a 1956 Chrysler Imperial.
Is it 55 or 56? It's amazing, it's got like flush door handles.
Yeah.
Amazing,
anti-burst doors.
Air conditioning, yeah. Look at that, the intakes. Nice. Wire wheels. You have to sell that easily if you got it to England.
Prefer them in red.
Yeah, but ain't that
Red with
nice?
red interior.
Yeah, but it still looks nice like that.
Yeah, I prefer red.
Yeah.
Stewart and Milton have come to Los Angeles with a shopping list of specific cars for specific buyers. Over the years, they have made valuable contacts with Californian dealers and enthusiasts who can make their London customers' dreams come true. For a small fee, Ed Berry thinks he can put the boys in contact with a mint 53 Cadillac convertible.
So what you need to do is take a look at it and see what's there, see if it really fits. You know, he did the rubber on it, did the paint, did the leather, did the chrome.
What I'd like to do is come down and look at it, and maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. Yeah,
well, there's a car out there with your name on it somewhere.
Yeah. Excuse me. Are you selling this?
A 1948 Buick Roadmaster has been on the shopping list for almost a year.
Great. Nearly.
More.
Yeah.
Okay, let me...
The car is in need of restoration, but is completely rust-free.
Well, that. All the chassis number and that's all right on it, isn't it? You know, on the same one that's on the logbook.
Once the famous pink slip is signed, the Roadmaster is on its way back to London.
We're in the
it's quite a lucky position that we're able to earn a living out of it by doing what we enjoy. So you don't, you sort of don't feel as if you're going to work. It was grown out of a hobby of collecting the cars and then being asked more and more, can you get me, particular cars, and it just really grew out of that. Well, we come to California because the condition of cars out here is so good because of the climate. This really is the place where you find the best examples. We've got this for somebody. It's a guy who's got quite a big collection of cars, and he wants to add some 50s American cars to that collection. And the brief that we got was, he gave us a list of a half a dozen cars that he wanted in good, clean, rust-free, running condition, but that needed restoring. There's definitely easier ways of earning a living. I don't know whether there'd be more enjoyable ways of earning a living. You've got to know what you're doing and what you're talking about. A lot of people, they see the cars that we've got at work and they think, oh yeah, I can, go out to America and, find a car on every street corner and, get them for nothing and bring them back and sell them, sort of for a few £1,000s. It just doesn't happen like that.
In fact, finding a car that is both in good condition and will sell back in Battersea is more difficult than it might seem. The next day, Milton and Stewart drive 100 miles out to the San Marino Valley to visit Fred Van Horn, who they bought the 48 Buick Roadmaster from at Pomona.
The kisses that I love.
Fred has a collection of cars, including a promising-sounding 1956 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, the perfect car for cruising the King's Road on a balmy summer's evening.
Pretty good shape.
Well, there's nothing like it in England, so again.
After years of looking at cars, good and bad, Milton and Stewart can tell immediately whether or not the Coupe de Ville is worth shipping home.
It's a straight car. The front end chrome is all really straight and as it came from the factory, so that would be no problem at all to get it re-chromed and looking good. The plastic insert on the badge needs replacing, but you can buy those reproductions, so that would be no problem.
It is a nice car, it's rust-free, which is the main thing that we look for. But then having said that, if you saw it going down the road sort of 20 feet away, it would look good, but when you actually get up to and look around it, the doors don't really shut that nicely. They're shut, but they're just not clean the way they shut, By the time it's back in England and, we sort of do the work that it needs doing to it, it's just going to make it too expensive to sell to somebody.
As with many 50s American cars, the Coupe de Ville owes its style to one man, Harley Earl. It was Earl who ruled General Motors' colour and styling studio for almost 30 years and single-handedly invented the fins and chrome of the classic 50s American car. Taking his influences from warplanes and Hollywood science fiction, Earl's studio created cars that reflected America's status as the most powerful nation on Earth, and even the universe. 40 years later, Earl's extravagant designs are still in demand. With much of the day spent cruising California's highways searching for cars, in the evenings, Milton and Stewart clock up a massive telephone bill, following up leads from the Los Angeles second-hand magazines.
And I've got $800 in just the brakes alone. The whole brake system was redone.
What are you asking for that?
Got it in there for $27.50.
This man has another Cadillac, but it's a less saleable four-door, not a two-door coupe.
And the 57 two-door has got a lower roof than a four-door, hasn't it? Like the front windshield is lower, so they just look nicer, with the... If you've got the windows down and the sort of, as it's cruising along, it looks nicer. I really would rather sort of buy a two-door coupe, but let me give it some thought and I'll have a chat with my brother about it. And what I'll do is, if I'm interested, I'll come and have a look at it. Thanks a lot. Bye. Cheers. Bye. Bye.
A 57 Cadillac has the instant charisma of a classic car, But in 30 years' time, Milton and Stewart might be cruising LA in search of a Ford Thunderbird like the one they have hired.
You know, these particular Thunderbirds, which are the sort of top-of-the-line Super Coupe, will certainly become a classic in 20 or 30 years. Obviously, as long as we've still got fossil fuels, we'll all be driving around in them and collecting them. But, you know, no one knows what would happen if we had to go over to using solar power. These would obviously become the dinosaurs.
Yeah. And this is a retractable.
Eh? Yeah, it looks really nice. Yeah.
One of the dinosaurs of the late 1950s is the Ford Skyliner retractable. It won't be for sale in the Battersea showroom. This car is for Stewart's personal use. This particular car belonged to a 70-year-old woman who had recently divorced. Its one-owner history and complete service record make it the find of a lifetime.
That's virtually perfect, that. You can never, if you re-chrome that, I mean, you probably could get it to shine a bit, but it'd never look, and the car just looks so original.
The retractable's roof is a real triumph of available technology over practicality. It utilises no less than 7 reversible electric motors, 23 switches, 9 circuit breakers, and 600 feet of wire.
Baby, 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 baby.
The 59 retractable is my favourite American car. There's something about them. I mean, I know that there's other cars that are sort of better looking cars than the retractable, but it's just the retractable is the one that I like the best out of all of them. You know, I like the style of it. I like the way the top works. Watch it working. I mean, it's a work of art. It isn't a really practical car because, you know, with the top down, the amount of usable boot space you've got is probably smaller than that of a Mini. But that isn't the reason I'm buying it. You know, I'm buying it because I like it so much.
This each time I look into her eyes of blue. Well, now, baby, 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 blue. Yeah, baby, 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 blue.
Frisco's Wednesday night car show is a real slice of American road culture. It's another opportunity for Stewart and Milton to make contacts and get close to the cars they love.
It's been ruined. It's got a lot of porthole put in the back of it. See that? I'm wasting a car. Oh, so that's 16 Palmer. Nice, isn't it?
California has the strictest exhaust emission standards in the world. Despite this, the people who live here are still devoted to their gas-guzzling cruisers. A recent survey declared that 40% of American marriages were proposed in cars. Here, the car is not just a means of transport. It is an expression of wealth and sexual intent that has turned into a popular art form. For American car fanatics like Stewart and Milton, this is as close to real happiness as you can get.
Get driving anything from hamburgers, shopping, take all your laundry in and just sit in your car, you know. And they say that America's a country on wheels, and it really is. You know, if you come down this road virtually at any time, day or night, and there's this amount of cars going up and down, you know.
I think the design of the cars, especially the 50s cars that we have got the interest in, were obviously designed before the wind tunnel or the computer was a major design factor, you know. It was all young guys out of art college and technical school that designed and put together all the 50s cars. So it was purely a piece of blank paper and whatever the guy thought of that went into the visual appearance of the car rather than the logic of a computer.
The Buicks in this breaker's yard are a memorial to that age before computers, when car designers' visions of the future were sketched in pencil and sculpted in clay.
Is that the right side?
Yeah.
This is a bonnet bar for a 58 special.
So that'll go back to the geezer that's bought the car.
Well, the thing is, if you look at that, you know, it's obviously it's an original piece from 1958, and it's, I mean, the chrome's a little bit dull, but it's, you know, the actual metal is perfect. You know,
it can literally be cleaned. And it won't even need to be re-chromed. It can go straight on the car.
Lamar Wilkins runs Buick Obsolete, a business devoted to the betterment of the Buick. Here on the edges of the Mojave Desert, rust, the grim reaper of metal, is slow to take a hold, and the cars are a gold mine of spare parts.
Might be easier to just get the ratchet on those.
Stewart and Milton are searching for a rear bumper overrider and window winder for the 48 Buick they bought at Pomona. The scene is familiar to any classic car enthusiast. The old and broken giving up vital organs to keep a few alive.
Well, my dad worked for Buick for a while, just at a dealer. I kind of just remember the cars. I'm not old enough to remember these, but I do all the mechanical repair on the older Buicks. I don't know, they're unique. They were always their own car. Even though they were part of General Motors, they still felt like they had to be different. You know, the enclosed drive shaft and keeping their own transmission. And it was like Oldsmobile and Cadillac and Pontiac, they all used whatever they could find, you know. And Buick usually always made their own. Got it. The clip that holds those on can really be a pain. A little spring clip. And you can never get them off of there because they don't leave any of it at the end before you get the tool behind it. You're not going to take the transmission out, so what you're
Like folklore, the mysteries of Buick engineering are handed down by word of mouth. With a $50 reconditioned part, Lamar can cure a leaking Dynaflow transmission.
Now, you can see the reason the U-joint doesn't really wear out in that is because it's in the transmission oil all the time.
Yeah.
Because that'll set right over the top, and then when you bolt it down, it just compresses the rubber right on that.
Coming up to see Lamar in Lancaster is really the only place in the world that a part like this could be got. So it's, you know, it really is priceless to anyone who's got a leaking Buick transmission. It's, you know, this is the part that will fix it.
The actual rubber's bonded to the metal inside.
It's vulcanised, so that is absolutely as factory. So that will go straight back on the car and hopefully cure any leak problems.
And we've probably spent $50 in transmission fluid.
Here it is.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, nice.
Lovely colour.
It's a very rare color. Three tones of green to the car.
Yeah.
The interior has 2 tones of green. It's awesome.
At last, Stewart and Milton make contact with the '53 Cadillac convertible.
I mean, the lenses, the chrome, everything about the car.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Jesse, is the battery connected to this car right now?
The Caddy will cost between £30,000 and £40,000, but it's exactly what Stewart and Milton's customer is looking for.
Yeah.
Being from England, you should know what that is.
Was it Wilton?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't come with that. It's
Nah,
kind of an overkill.
Yeah.
But
So are all the hydraulics new or they're original?
the back's original,
yeah.
or they might have been replaced through the years,
but
but
you haven't
not by me.
replaced them, no.
And they work perfectly. Underneath of this car, it's beautiful. If you look at this, this stuff's
Yeah.
all original stuff.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
not replaced. To give you an idea, the steering wheel,
Yeah, it's original.
which, yeah,
The actual mileage on the car, I cannot tell you. It shows 15,000 on it. I have no idea what the real mileage is. That's one owner as far as I'm concerned.
Amazing.
Today it's for sale. Next week,
Yeah,
and not to be, you know,
no.
trying to be real with you.
At a time when the rest of the world was still plunged in post-war gloom, Harley Earle's hatchery of dreamers came up with this unashamed evocation of luxury and optimism. A shrine to Mammon, and without doubt, one of the great American classic cars.
I mean, I would call it a classic American car. I mean, you've only got to look at the front of it to, you know, to look at the chrome of it. And it's a 1953 car. It's got power everything. I mean, it's a convertible, and you can fill it with people and go out cruising. And hopefully, if we can work out a deal with the guy who's got it and speak to the guy in England, it'll probably be cruising King's Road in the summer, this car, so you can look out for it there.
3 months later, a massive 59 Buick Electra squeezes its way down the King's Road, Chelsea in the afternoon gloom.
They do lose a certain amount, obviously, with blue skies and palm trees. It looks really good, and the convertibles lend themselves to that sort of climate, you know. Well, I suppose they, I mean, in a way, they sort of look out of place driving around the streets of London, but, you know, really, I mean, for us, we haven't got any other option.
It's the last Saturday night in February, and the Dream Cars showroom is open late for the King's Road cruise. The 53 Caddy is back and awaiting an MOT before it's delivered. Looking somewhat out of place in a London midwinter, the extravagant Impalas, Centuries and Belvederes draw an enthusiastic flow of would-be James Deans and Eddie Cochrans.
So no, I haven't got much stuff like this, you know, like the 59 Bonneville's gone now, and obviously the 59 olds went a long time ago, so I mean...
For around £7,500, anyone can arrive in style in the Buick Electra.
You know, to do a deal, it makes more sense for us to keep this, but I mean, I do obviously want to sell it, you know, but
if you get stuck with it and I get stuck with mine, then maybe we can come to some sort of deal. I mean, I wouldn't mind even putting some more dosh with it. I like it that much, you know what I mean?
The King's Road cruise is a long way from Whittier Boulevard, Los Angeles, where it all started in the 50s. But if you've got the right set of wheels, the sun will always shine.
basically it's a sort of a meeting on the last Saturday of every month in the King's Road and sort of Chelsea Embankment area of London. And this is about the 16th year that it's been officially going. And obviously it's originated from cruising in America. Driving the car, you imagine that you're cruising down Pacific Coast Highway, California, but obviously... Originally in America, when cruising first took place, it was the only way of getting out of the house and meeting people. And I suppose that tends to be true as well today. You get a few idiots. Of all the different types, especially people into the 50s era and rock and roll, the biggest single thing you can get to sort of live out that lifestyle is an old American car. So, you know, a lot of people dress in 50s style and go to rock and roll clubs and will also want to actually have a 50s car because it's the sort of ultimate step back in time.